Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. So we continue for our afternoon session, okay, on the problem formulations. Okay. So the learning outcome of these sessions, okay, we're able to identify elements of good problem statement, analyze a problem statement, develop a basic problem statement, to impart the skill on how to formulate and structure a research problems. Okay. So the objective is to impart the skill on how to formulate and structure a research problems. Okay. So I will show some of an example, okay, on how to address, okay, a research problems. Okay. And either you can use for your thesis or you can use for your um, publications, okay, journal publications. Okay. So as we have discussed previously, okay, so the research is a systematic, control, empirical, okay, critical investigation of natural problems guided by theory and hypothesis about the presumed relation among such phenomena. Okay, so it requires us to provide the problem solving. Okay, and from the problem solving, okay, we come out with the finding. Okay, so the application of the scientific approach to study a problems. Okay, and control inquiry concerning a certain event or events. Okay. Okay, research process is the means accountable to the end result. Okay, begin with two important questions: what problem can be solved, and how can problem be solved? Okay, so in these two type of question, okay, so from there we derive our research problems. Okay, so the means of accountable means that we can measure and then uh, come up with our own analysis and also provide the solutions, okay, towards the end of the study. Okay. So three phases of research progress. Okay, this is the common the typical type. Okay, especially in the engineering field. Okay, during the phase one. Okay, so or the first we call as the first first year. Okay, starting the research, choosing a general topic. Okay, narrowing the topic and collecting informations. Okay, so that is the common that we carry out during the first year. Okay, so during the phase two, okay, recording information, organizing ideas and analysis, and then on the phase three, writing and documentation and presentations. Okay. So normally the phase two and phase one, okay, we can combine together. Okay, do not wait until we complete the what we call as uh, the the literature review process. Okay, so we can start in parallel. Okay, so the more information that we gain or the more data that we have, actually can consider as a good um, data collection. Okay. At the same time, for the future works, okay, so we can produce a lot of journal articles, okay. Okay, to measure either your what we call as either your laboratory work is sufficient or not, okay. Normally for the PhD programs, okay, so at least, okay, we should have a solid 1 year uh, laboratory work or data collections process. Okay. So for example, okay, for my case, okay, so I have I have a 16 16 main laboratory works. Okay. So for each laboratory work, okay, I need to spend at least 3 weeks, okay, including data testing, analyzing, and data collection and analyzing. Okay, so 3 times 16, so it is almost 48 weeks. Okay, and then I have a part where I use software, okay, to validate my research laboratory works. Okay, then I also have a supplementary test. Okay, supplementary test is the basic soil property test, strength test, whatever test that support the main laboratory works. Okay, so in total, okay, if I'm not mistaken, I have almost 1.5 years of laboratory and numerical testing. Okay, so the solid only count for the data that we consider that we include in the thesis. Okay, so we cannot consider the false data. Okay, or the data is not fit to be put in your thesis. Okay, so for the master programs, so at least, okay, we need to have a 6 months of solid, master 6 month or 9 month solid laboratory test. Okay, so that's why it's very important for us to come up with the Gantt chart. Okay, so from this Gantt chart, you can measure how many days or weeks that you include in your during your thesis program. Okay, clear?
Yes, Prof.
Okay. So that's why it's very important for you to come up with your Gantt chart. Okay. So and normally it's happen on during your second semester. Okay. So it's better to start on the second semester, or you can start early than that. Okay, on the first semester. Okay. So then try to complete, okay, during the last fourth semester. Okay, because you need to spend a lot of time, okay, especially when you want to do the writing. Okay, so for my case, okay, I took about 1.5 years, okay, to do the writing. Okay, so it depends on the what about the attendance. No need, because I have you. Can you use the first one that I sent early in the morning? Okay. Okay. Then I need
Sorry, sir.
ah ah
The QR code we have to scan again.
for those who has a problem, try to scan it again. So for
No,
those who has
afternoon session. Afternoon session, we have to take another attendance.
uh, okay, I will share with you before I end our class.
Okay.
Okay. Perhaps 10 minutes before I end our class, so I will share with you in the WhatsApp group. Okay. So okay. So yeah, I need to spend a lot of time. Okay, because yeah, my supervisor keep revising. Okay, until 4 or 5 versions. Okay, so it's better for you to complete your writing, okay, 6 months before you plan to submit your thesis. Okay, so that is the ideal way. Okay, okay. In terms of writing skill, okay, so okay, it is better for you, okay, to buy a Grammarly software. Okay, so let me type the software. Grammarly. Okay. So try to get at Shopee. Okay. Because you can get a very minimum price. Okay. Because you can get a premium license. Okay. With a very minimum price. So try to purchase it because it can help you in preparing your writing. Okay. And at the same time, okay, avoid to direct copy from any text from the feed from any journal. Okay. Why? Because at the end of your study or at the end during your submission, you need to send or need to check for the proofread. Need to check for the similarity plagiarism. Okay. So for the thesis, it should less than 20% for each chapter. Okay. So you need to check for the similarity. Okay. It should less than 20%. Okay. So how to overcome these problems? Okay. So you start to write your own words. Okay. Or you change from active to passive. Okay. Or if you read the what we call if you read the article in the journal, so you need to try to try to change some words, okay, uh, or you need to change the sentence, okay, either passive to active or active to passive, okay, okay. So at the end, you will not facing this kind of problems, okay, if you start at the early stage, okay, okay. So research is systematic because it follows certain steps. They are logical in order. Okay. So either we use the inductive reasoning or deductive reasoning. Okay, as we have discussed previously, inductive is more related to a qualitative, while deductive is more related to the quantitative approach. Okay, then uh, we need to okay, whatever result that you gain from the laboratory test, okay, you need to explain it well. Okay, do not explain beyond than what you can observe. Okay, so for example, the strength of the soil increase, okay, until up to certain value. Okay, then in sudden you just include the chemical behavior, okay, in your explanations, although you are not carry out for that kind of uh, supplementary testing. Okay, so you just explain whatever that you've seen. Okay, if you carry out for a supplementary test, okay, so you may include, okay, in your explanations. Okay, or you can use whatever result that has been obtained from the previous researcher. Okay, and then uh, add all the informations, okay, after you have explained your result, okay, uh, in the text, okay. Okay, so this is an example of the statement for the problem, research problems. Okay. So it is better to use uh, the, the, the definite statement compared to this question form. Okay. So the major focus of this research is to analyze. Okay. The central problem of this study is to predict. The principal goal of this study is to identify. Okay. So it's better to use the definite statement compared to the question forms. Okay. So normally, okay, these statements we may include, okay, right after we address the problems or the limitation from the previous problems. Okay. Planning research. Okay. Ask the following question. Okay. Is the idea viable? Okay. It is practical. Okay. What will be the time factor? Has it been done before? Okay. What result is expected? What do click think? Will an expert be needed? What component of works? Okay. So that's why very important for you to go through for any journal or thesis, especially on the methodology parts. Okay. For example, for my case, okay, there are several methods of preparing the soy semen columns. Okay. The first one, they cure the soy semen column in a cylindrical tubes. Okay. Before they bore a hole and then they put the column inside the hole. Okay. So they are another one. They bore a hole and then they inject the soy semen columns and then let it cure for several days. Okay. And they are another approach, okay, where they use a graphite, okay, some material, okay, that have a same strength with the common soil semen columns, okay, and install inside the soft soil uh, ground, okay. So I tried to use the first and the second one, not the graphite one. In and then I believe that the first one is working well compared to the second methods. Okay. So once I repeat the process, the techniques, okay, and then I found that the first technique is much more feasible to be carried out. Okay. So that's why it's very important for us to go through the previous literature or the previous paper or journal. Okay. So from there, okay, we can identify, the idea is viable or not, okay, it is practical or not, okay, because once the method we already established, so we can try to manage for uh, the other factor that that can easily be carried out. Okay, for example, for a numerical methods, we can learn from somebody else. Okay, but for the laboratory work, okay, so we need to prove, okay, by our own by conducting the testing. Okay, if the testing is not working well, so we will facing a problems, okay, to complete the study. Okay. Okay, deciding on the topic. To interpret the gathered information, some initial question about the topic might include, okay, what additional area of topic should I investigate? What background information should I read? Should I concentrate my information gather more on one area of the subject than on other area? Okay. So as we have discussed previously, first the topic should precise. Okay, the topic should reflect on the whole study. Okay, so sometimes the topic should cover the methods, okay, that we use or the material that we use. Okay, so and the topic should within the limits, okay, for UTM case should be less than 15 words. Okay. Okay. Problem of study. Okay. Four classes of problems. Okay. Those in which both data and method necessary for solution are known. Okay. So this will be the grade one. Okay. So the best is to get all the information from the thesis rather than from the journal. Okay. So from the thesis will provide the detailed explanations. So if we read the thesis, so and then we follow the step that's been provided by the previous researcher. So we can guarantee that we have data and methods necessary for solutions. Okay. So those in which the necessary data, but not the methods are known. Okay. So we do a reading. Okay. And then from there, okay, we know what the data that we should collect. Okay. But we still try to get an idea how does we could collect the data. Okay. Or perhaps the previous researcher, okay, they use a method which is not available in UTM, for example. Okay. Okay. So in that case, okay, we need to use a different type of methods, and at the end, hopefully we can get the we can establish the method and gain the data that we required. Okay. So those in which the method is known but not the data. Okay. So I guess this is a lack of reading, lack of information that we gain from the reading. Okay. So this is less trouble compared to the number two. Okay. So when we do a reading, okay, we communicate or we discuss with the any researcher. So from there, we can get an idea what data that we should gain. Okay. Normally for laboratory testing, okay, whatever data that we have, as long it is follow the standard and we do the calibration, so there will be no a big issue. Okay. Those in which neither the method or the data are known. Okay, so this is more complicated. Okay, so we doesn't know what data that we want to, that data we want to know, that data we want to get, and also the method. So try to avoid this number four type of problems. Okay, so we need to have a clear picture, okay, what we want to gain and what method that we want to use. Okay. Those research problems include only those problems which the method and data necessary to bridge gap and achieve the goal are not known simultaneously. Okay. Select a problem if it's a viable in terms of interest and realistic. Okay. So that is a suggestion where is viable and realistic, okay, in terms of time and in terms of money size. Okay. Okay, to solve a problem, one should know what the problem is. In other words, a solution to problem comes after knowing precisely what the problem is in the first place. Okay, those before the research can begin to take shape, a problem must be identified by analyzing and specifying its exact dimensions. Okay. So to identifying the problems, okay, uh, yeah, again, need to have a good literature review exercise. Okay, so we need to spend uh, more times. Okay, to identify what is the problems that we can embark. Okay, on our study. Okay, so approach of identification of problems. Okay, so the best is the from search the literature. Okay, so you need to spend, okay, for the first year, so at least you need to spend at least 5 days, sorry, 5 journals, okay, in a day. Okay, okay, so you need how to identify which the journal related to your study. Okay, first the topic itself, second the abstract. Okay, so you go through in a glance. Okay, the abstract. Okay, because the abstract consists of problem statement, method, result, and finding. So from there you can get an idea. Okay, do you want to continue reading this journal or not? Okay, so the rest is ask the expert. Okay, later on you will become a specialist. Okay, explore area of dissatisfaction, current study current development and trends, maintain idea of notebook. Okay, examine the theoretical structure of the field. Okay, so this is the list of the type of the research gap. Okay, evidence gap, knowledge gaps. Okay, desire research finding do not exist. Okay, practical knowledge gap, professional behavior of practice deviate from research finding are not covered by research. Okay, methodology gap. A version of research method is necessary to generate new insight or to avoid distorted finding. Okay, so again, okay, uh, as I told you before, it's very difficult to have a major contributions. Okay, so at least, okay, if you have a very minor contributions, okay, then go deeply. Okay, so for example, less study has been made on the floating type of columns. Okay, so what you can do, you do a lot of parametric study. Okay, varies all the parameter, so at least you go in detail. Okay, although the contribution is very minor. Okay, so how do you select a problems? Okay, personal critical study on literature, interaction with other, feasibility. Okay, so this an example. Okay, for my case. Okay, when I put my problem statement, and that's my problem statement in my thesis. Okay, okay. So so you should have some explanations, or introductions. Okay, in recent year, due to high demands, foreground improvement machinery and construction for DM have undergone significant development. So that is very general. The performance of DM method is known to be influenced by factors such as improvement error ratio. Okay, so this is the parameter that influence the outcome of the deep mixing methods. The undrained, okay, the surrounding soil, footing, rigidity, columns, and bearing condition. Despite its widespread application by industry, the current state of the art indicates that further. So this is the key word. Okay, the further research is necessary. Okay, to provide enhanced understanding of the technique, especially with regard to the failure mechanism. Okay, and failure column failure modes. Okay, this is necessary to improve the precision of defense in the field, especially the bearing capacity value. Okay, so for my case, okay, the emphasis is more on the failure mechanism and column failure mode study. Okay, for the fully penetrated and also for the floating type. Okay. So you should have this kind of structure, okay, in order for you to address the research problems. Okay, so this another example on the durability of concrete. Okay, so you can go through later on. Okay, so the words here is require further investigation. Okay, so okay, this is some of the study related to the ASR, alkali silica reactivity is okay. So actually, this slide has been prepared by the previous what we call it as lecturer, okay, and he is under the material field, okay. And I add a little bit on the geotechnical field, okay, inside this slide, okay. So most of the example is related to the concrete or material. Okay, so this is study on the concrete durability. Okay. Okay, this is for the concrete repair, okay, coating properties. Okay. So this is some of the idea, okay, that can be used, okay, to study on the concrete, concrete repair. Okay, question relating to the feasibility of the study. Okay, is the problem researchable? Okay, has the problem has been specified? Is the problem amenable, okay, to the research? Is the problem too large? How available are the data? And I'm capable of solving the problem. Okay. So the last one is more related to on your capability, especially on your research skill. So you can develop your research skill, okay, by keep repeating, conducting the testing. Okay. So from there you can know, okay, uh, what uh, what uh, what what is the lack from your knowledge. Okay. So you should have a checklist, okay, before you carry out for your testing. Okay, so make sure that you follow the same checklist, okay, throughout the whole of your testing programs. Okay, so that's why, for example, if you have 10 main testing, so you should add 2 more. Okay, the first one should be the repeat test, okay, for the untreated cases, and the second one is the repeat test for the treated case. Okay. So for example, this is for under untreated, while this is under treated. Okay. So this 10 should have one untreated. Okay, means that the control data. Okay. Then you may run for any parametric study. Okay. So you need to table your testing program and discuss with your supervisor. Okay. Is the problem worthwhile? Okay. Useful of the finding and contributing to the existing body of knowledge? Those are proper assessment on significance of the result is important of the worthwhileness of research problem. Okay. So although you carry out for a laboratory test, okay, but at the end you should have one section that discuss on the applications of your result towards the full scale or towards the industry applications. Okay. So for example, you carry out for a laboratory test, okay, and then at the end you come up with a practical design chart, okay, for road construction. Okay. So what is the minimum value for the what we call it for the ground for the for the cement content. Okay, so then you can come up with the application for the road constructions. Okay, formulating the problems objective to focus on a subject for research to examine a subject in multifaceted. Okay, to apply creativity. Okay, so this is the objective of the formulating the problems. Okay, okay, method of process. We have four type of process: subdividing, free associations, asking question, and then we can combine. Okay, for all three above process. Okay, so subdividing, divide the general area into progressively small units. Subdivide until one reach a subject that is interested in researching. Okay. So, okay, for example, okay, for the ground treatment, okay, we have a lot of methods for the ground treatments. Okay. So that's why I'm focusing on deep missing methods. Okay. Because it is very important, okay, to and very uh, cheap, okay, in terms of the cost, okay, compared to the other methods. Okay, so the free association, okay, is practice of writing down words or phrase that occur to us as they come to mind, without worrying about order, spelling, usefulness, applicability, or any other judgment. Okay, so you just write down what you are what you are what you are that come to your mind. Okay, so from there, because the idea might become, okay, during when you are cooking, okay, or when you are in the toilet, okay, whatever, then you you put it in the notes, okay, and then from there you just start to elaborate it later on. Okay, asking question. Okay, so this is the 5 W and 1 H. Okay, who, what, where, when, why, and how. Okay, so most common is what, why, and how. Okay, so what, why, how, where, who, when. Okay, so you can use this approach. Okay, so related to this um, approach. Okay, so from there we may know. Okay, uh, how could we get the literature or the journal, okay, based on this important website. Okay, so step one, always read paper from a highest to the lowest quality. Okay, I guess the arrangements, okay, of this website. Okay, so the WOS is the highest. Okay, then reduce to the Scopus level, Scholar, and then to the last one. Okay, JSTOR. Okay, for all subject database. Okay, use my literature review summary template to summarize what you read. Okay, so you need to come up with your own literature, what we call review summary templates. Okay, then draw up a literature metric. Okay, so what should you put in your literature review summary template? Okay, for example, the the title, okay, of the paper. Okay, then you put the author name, okay, the year, okay, then what is the objective, okay, or what is the problem statement, and then methods, okay, then continue with the finding, okay, and the last one, okay, you need to put your own comment, okay. So your comment is more related to what is the limitations that's not been covered, okay, by the previous articles, okay. So combined method is much more satisfactory practice to combine all the above approach in formulating problems. Okay. So research question, good research question have four essential characteristics: feasible, clear, significant, and ethical. So for us, we doesn't have any problem with the ethical. Okay. Ethical means that we carry out a study on animal, carry out study on the plant. Okay. Generally written in question form, but they can be written as a statement. So better to have in the statement. Okay. So developing research question or research question, the significant, a clear state research question or research problem would streamline a research effort. Okay. Usefulness, the research question should guide subsequent works, influence information gathering, guide data analysis, influence the content of the writing. Okay, those is focus the effort, minimize false start, save time and unnecessary works. Okay, developing research question or research problem approach start with broad question and as needed develop more narrowly phrased question. Okay, so that is the good a good practice. Okay. Constructing research question, 5 possible approach: examining or analyzing, evaluating or criticizing, comparing and contrasting, relating, establishing among others, arguing or proceeding, argue for or against something. Okay. Okay, key feature of research question is important to learn to shape answerable question or to estimate whether they will develop enough new knowledge to justify the time, effort, and expense of investigating. Features of researchable question: answerable, not just one question, define operationally, need answering. Okay. So I just go through and no need to explain further. Okay. So research problems, okay, we should use a formal like a thesis, okay, definitely. Their primary function are to help the reader, okay, definitely. To write strong research problem, you should keep in mind terminology, share belief and mindset, canonical works, okay. So it should have a proper structure, okay. So, okay, this is one example. Then you can read for another example later on. Okay. So this is the introduction part. Okay. Although many. Okay. 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 This is the introduction part. Okay. So potential to damage to the gas by causing. Okay. While there are few published study. Okay. So I just highlight this one of the successful use of the plant extract of corrosion. Okay. Regard green nanoparticle being cosmetic correction invented for steel. Okay. Okay. Remain unexplored. Okay. So that is the way how they create the research problems. Okay. Okay. For this one is the use of the latex. Natural rubber latex. Okay. So those is the highly deformable and void. Okay. Could be employed to enhance the persistent shortcoming. Okay. So this is the problems. Okay. As tackling the mechanism of moisture absorption, which form the main avenue to aggressive attacks causing concrete and reinforcement degradations. Okay. So this is tropical rainforest climate on corrosions. Okay. 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 So I guess did not give detail about the response. Okay. So that is why this author come up with this kind of study. Okay. So example are how the idea in the problem statement. Okay. Topic, research problems, justification for research problem, deficiencies in the evidence, relating the discussion to the audience. Okay. So they provide the example. Okay. So although the example is not related to us, but they show you how we create the problem statement. Okay. So the body of a research report. Okay. Okay. This is what I have discussed previously. Okay. Introduction, literature review, methodology, result. Okay. Summary and conclusions. Okay. So it's just a repeat slide. Okay. Introduction, methodology. Okay. Result analysis of data. Okay. Summary and conclusions. Okay. And recommendation for future work. Okay. So that is uh, all for this afternoon sessions. Okay. So communication is very important. Okay. So this is a cartoon. Okay, on the lack of communications. Okay, before you go to sleep tonight, be sure you put out the light. Okay. So her husband just this guy put the light outside. Okay. Okay. So thank you. Okay. Any question before I end our class? So actually, you can learn more. Okay, if you do a lot of reading. Okay, and normally in a thesis, or sorry, in a journal. Okay, you can find the this kind of statement. Okay, on a paragraph, on the last paragraph on the introduction part. Okay, when you read the journal. Okay, so normally the last paragraph on the introduction part. Okay, the author will discuss on the limitations. Okay, and also the limitation, and also the what the objective of the study. Okay, so I guess with that I end our our afternoon session. Okay, then I will share with you the QR code. Okay, and also the slide I will share in the e-learning. Okay, and also the recording version. Okay, so okay, with that I end my class. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam, Prof.
Salam.
Waalaikumsalam,
Thank
sir.
you,
Good
sir.
afternoon.